Welcome to the deep dive. This is where we take a whole stack of sources, pull out the most important bits, and basically give you the shortcut to being really well informed. Today, we are plunging into the, fascinating and pretty intricate world of the global supply chain management market. Our mission to distill the vital insights, the projections, using comprehensive data, specifically from cognitive market research. And just so we're clear, when we talk about the global supply chain management market, we mean that whole ecosystem, right? Software, services, technologies, everything companies use to optimize how things get from, say, raw materials to your doorstep. Globally, you might just think of supply chains as, stuff moving from A to B, but have you ever really stopped to think how significant they are in your daily life? I mean, every single thing you touch, pretty much everything you eat, it's traveled through one. It's like the silent engine of the global economy. Okay, let's unpack this.
It truly is a silent engine. That's a good way to put it. And what's really striking from this deep dive today, we're focusing on sales revenue projections from 2021 right through to 2033, is just the sheer scale of the growth. Globally, the numbers are, they're projected to jump from about $26.5 billion in 2021
Right.
to a colossal $77 billion by 2033.
Wow, 77 billion.
Yeah, that's a compound annual growth rate, the CAGR, of just over 9%, 9.287 to be precise.
So it's nearly tripling in just over a decade.
Exactly, nearly tripling. It strongly suggests companies are making huge sustained investments, not just in moving goods around, but in making logistics genuinely smart, resilient.
Nearly tripling. That's
Yeah.
that's not just growth. That sounds like a fundamental reshaping. So, okay, let's break it down geographically. North America has traditionally been, a behemoth here. Our source shows its market climbing from around, $10.6 billion in 2021 to an estimated $29.7 billion by 2033. Still growing strong, nearly 9% CAGR there, too. And within that, the U.S. is just massive, right? Projected to be over $22 billion itself by 2033. What's driving that kind of expansion in an already mature market?
That's a really good question, because in North America, while, the basic infrastructure's there, the growth isn't just about getting bigger. It's really about optimization and resilience.
Yeah.
The increasing complexity of e-commerce, everyone wanting faster delivery.
Right.
And this growing focus now on sustainability, on supply chain transparency. So companies there are investing heavily. Advanced analytics, AI for forecasting, automation, trying to navigate all that. They're constantly looking for more efficiency, more robustness, especially after all the disruptions we've seen recently.
That makes sense. So it's less about building from scratch, more about really refining and upgrading what's already in place.
Okay, so if North America is the established giant that's evolving, what about across the Atlantic, Europe? Are their growth drivers similar, or are they facing maybe a unique set of challenges that shape their supply chain future?
Europe's also seeing really robust expansion. It's projected to go from about $7.6 billion back in 2021 to nearly $21.5 billion by 2033. So again, a CAGR just under that 9% mark. What's kind of fascinating there is the consistency across its major economies. You look at Germany, France, both are set to reach over $3 billion each.
Okay.
And unlike maybe some regions that are playing catch-up, Europe's growth seems often driven by a really strong focus on regulatory compliance,
Yeah, right.
cross-border efficiency within the EU, of course, and a significant push towards sustainable supply chain practices. So companies are investing in solutions that don't just move goods, but do it in an environmentally conscious way and, ticking all the regulatory boxes. That emphasis on sustainability and regulation, that definitely sounds like a European focus. Now, okay, prepare yourself. Because here's where we see some, truly explosive growth. Asia Pacific. It looks poised for an incredible surge. The market there apparently soared from just under $5 billion in 2021 to a staggering $16 billion projected in 2033.
Wow.
That gives it the highest EGR of all regions, over 10.5%. China's leading the charge, projected over $4.6 billion. But Japan and India also showing immense potential, both expected to break $2.5 billion. What on earth is driving that accelerated pace?
Yeah, that explosion in Asia Pacific, it's not just about more factories turning things out. It's profoundly shaped by, the rapid adoption of digital tech, for one, and just the sheer scale of the e-commerce boom over there. I mean, think about it. A single consumer, say, in Mumbai, can now easily order something from Shenzhen. That requires hyper-efficient supply chain management. Often AI-driven, lots of automation needed. The region isn't just the world's factory anymore. It's also this rapidly expanding consumer market itself, which means investing in cutting-edge software for everything from, real-time tracking to optimizing that last mile of delivery. It's absolutely critical. You also see places like Singapore making huge strides in smart logistics.
So it's really about meeting that massive digitally driven consumer demand.
Okay.
And speaking of high growth, South America is another region that seems to be really picking up steam. It climbed from under $2 billion in 2021 to nearly $6 billion projected by 2033. That's a KIGR over 10%, just slightly behind Asia Pacific. Brazil is a major driver, looks like, projected over $2 billion of that market by 2033, plus significant contributions from Argentina and Colombia. How do their growth factors compare to Asia Pacific, or are they on a totally unique trajectory?
Well, the robust growth in South America, much like parts of Asia Pacific, actually, it really paints a picture of emerging economies prioritizing supply chain optimization. They see it as a key enabler for economic development. It reflects, increasing integration into global trade networks, plus a growing middle class with rising consumer demand. And while maybe they're not at the same scale of digital infrastructure as some of the Asian giants yet, they are investing rapidly to modernize their logistics. They need to handle increasing volumes, improve efficiency, often sort of leapfrogging old technologies in the process.
Interesting. Leapfrogging tech. Okay. And just rounding out our global tour, the Middle East is growing too, from just over $1 billion to over $2.5 billion by 2033. That's an almost 8% CAGR.
Still significant.
And Africa rising from about $400 million to nearly $1.5 billion by 2033. That's almost a 10% CAGR as well. Saudi Arabia leads in the Middle East, while Nigeria and South Africa seem to be leading in Africa. It really does feel like the need for sophisticated supply chain management is, well, universal.
It absolutely is. The growth in these regions, the Middle East and Africa, while it's smaller in absolute dollar terms compared to, say, North America or Europe, it's still very significant percentage-wise. It really indicates a broadening of this whole global market, the adoption of these advanced systems in, new territories. It highlights that this pursuit of efficiency, resilience, connectivity, and global trade, it's a worldwide imperative now. Even in developing economies, just starting to build out more robust supply chain infrastructures.
Okay, so just to recap the, monumental growth we've seen across the global supply chain management market. We're talking overall market expansion from about $26.5 billion in 2021, projected up to $77 billion by 2033.
That's the big picture, yeah.
And while North America and Europe, they remain dominant in just sheer market size, regions like Asia Pacific, South America, they're experiencing truly rapid growth, often driven, as you said, by digital transformation, emerging consumer markets. So okay, what does this all mean for us? For you listening?
Yeah, that's really the key question, isn't it? Given this consistent, significant growth everywhere, and particularly those remarkable rates in Asia Pacific and South America. This unwavering expansion points to a future defined by even greater global interconnectedness, also a relentless pursuit of efficiency, and, crucially, a focus on resilience. Things need to keep moving even when stuff happens.
Right.
So this raises, I think, an important question for you to consider. How will this continuous investment, this expansion in supply chain capabilities, how will it fundamentally reshape economies, yes, but also societies in the coming decade? And maybe more personally, how might that impact you directly? Perhaps, even in ways you haven't really considered yet. From the products you buy, how quickly they arrive, to maybe even the kinds of jobs available in your community. It's something worth thinking about.
Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Ever stop to think about how that coffee in your mug or the device you're listening on, or honestly, any product you buy actually makes its way to you? It's quite a journey, right? Starts from raw materials, ends up right at your doorstep.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing when you break it down.
So today we're taking a deep dive into the fascinating, complex world of global supply chain management.
Right.
Our mission for you, our listener, is basically to give you a genuine shortcut to being well-informed about this interconnected system that touches, everything. Hopefully with some surprising facts and those aha moments along the way.
And for this deep dive, we're drawing on some really comprehensive insights from cognitive market research.
Right.
They've given us a fantastic lens, really, to look at the key drivers, what's pushing the whole global supply chain management, or SCM, industry forward, and also the significant restraints, what's holding it back, and the promising trends that are kind of innovating its future. So by the end of this, you should have a much clearer picture of what's truly influencing the global flow of goods.
Excellent. So where do we even begin to understand what's supercharging this system? What are these incredible engines of growth?
Well, you really can't talk about modern supply chains without talking about how globally connected we've all become.
Right.
The first big driver is simply the globalization of trade and business operations.
Okay.
I mean, it's not just that companies operate across borders, it's how they've optimized things. Like just-in-time delivery, single-source suppliers, all chasing efficiency.
Which sounds great on paper.
Exactly. Brilliant for cost saving, absolutely. But that optimization has also built an incredibly complex and sometimes, let's be honest, fragile system.
Oh, okay.
That's kind of the aha moment, right?
Yeah.
Realizing that what made it so efficient also sometimes made it incredibly vulnerable.
Yeah, I can see that.
And this complexity creates a massive demand for, well, real-time tracking, robust risk mitigation, and, seamless cross-border coordination.
And I guess that global reach ties directly into something else we all interact with constantly. Online shopping.
Oh, definitely.
That rapid expansion of e-commerce and omnichannel retail must be a huge factor, right?
Absolutely huge. Just think about how many different ways you can buy something now online, in-store, click and collect. Online retailers especially rely so heavily on sophisticated digital SCM platforms.
We have to.
Yeah. It's not just about managing inventory levels. These platforms are absolutely crucial for making sure orders get fulfilled promptly, handling returns efficiently, and guaranteeing customer satisfaction across every single one of those channels.
Right. That promise of 2-day shipping, it wouldn't exist otherwise.
It simply wouldn't be possible without advanced SCM. No way.
That makes so much sense. And with all that complexity and speed, there's got to be a rising demand for real-time visibility and transparency, right?
For sure.
I mean, it's one thing to know your shipment left the factory, but what does end-to-end insights really mean for a company? Beyond just knowing where a box is.
That's a fantastic question because it's about so much more than just tracking a package. It's really about predictive capability.
Predictive. How so?
Well, imagine knowing that a critical component is, say, likely to get stuck in customs before your production line actually runs out.
Okay. Yeah.
That allows you to proactively pivot, maybe secure alternatives, That level of transparency driven by advanced SCM, it's transformative for responding to disruptions, minimizing delays.
I guess meeting regulations too.
Exactly. Meeting increasingly strict regulatory demands like carbon emission reporting and things like that.
Wow, that's truly next level stuff.
And speaking of cutting edge tech, the fourth major driver you mentioned seeing is the accelerating integration of automation and AI in logistics.
Yeah.
We're talking about tools like machine learning, robotic process automation, RPA.
Well, that's the one, yeah.
Yeah.
Where software bots automate repetitive tasks.
And predictive analytics. How are these really, changing the game?
Oh, the impact is profound. It's not just about making faster decisions, though that's part of it. It's about AI models crunching massive amounts of data, everything from real-time weather patterns to, geopolitical shifts.
Wow.
Allowing companies to predict, for instance, maybe a 2-month delay on a specific microchip before the news even breaks.
Seriously.
Yeah. And that allows them to maybe reroute entire cargo ships or adjust production schedules way in advance, turning potential disasters into, minor detours, hopefully.
Incredible.
So these technologies, they're driving more accurate forecasting, significantly faster decision-making, and just an overall boost in efficiency across the entire chain. So when you put those four forces together, globalization, e-commerce, the need for visibility, and AI, it becomes really clear why there's such a huge, undeniable demand for sophisticated SCM solutions.
Yeah.
And how they directly shape the products you use every single day.
Okay, so we've talked about what's pushing things forward, the drivers. But, every dynamic system has its speed bumps, right?
What are the biggest hurdles the global supply chain is facing? This is where I think it gets really interesting.
You're absolutely right. For all this incredible connectivity and technology, there are some significant challenges. And often, actually, the very solutions we're talking about come with their own set of hurdles.
Like what?
Well, one of the biggest is just the sheer high cost of implementation and integration.
Yeah. The price tag.
Exactly. Advanced SCM platforms, they often demand really heavy upfront investments. And it's not just the software itself.
Right. There's more to it.
Yeah, you've got the necessary infrastructure, you need training for staff, and then the often very complex process of system integration with whatever systems are already in place.
I can only imagine. It's sort of like buying a Formula One car to deliver pizzas, right? Unless you're a massive enterprise.
Yeah, that's a good analogy.
It's probably overkill for a small local bakery. That must make these less accessible for small and medium businesses, the SMEs.
Precisely. That high barrier to entry is a really significant challenge for SMEs.
Okay, what else?
Then we have the critical issues of cybersecurity and data privacy concerns.
Oh, yeah. Huge topic everywhere.
It really is. Digital supply chains inherently rely on sharing real-time data between a vast number of different stakeholders. You've got manufacturers, logistics providers, retailers, everyone. Now, while that's efficient, it also creates potential vulnerabilities right across that entire network. Potential for data breaches, cyber attacks. Protecting that shared information is absolutely paramount.
And probably gets harder the more partners you add.
Exponentially harder, yeah. And then even with all this amazing tech, you still need the right people running it.
Ah, the human element.
Right. Another pressing issue is a genuine shortage of skilled professionals.
Really?
Yeah, many organizations are really struggling to find talent with that unique blend of, technical know-how to actually operate these complex systems.
Right.
And the strategic insight to actually use the data effectively to make smart decisions across the whole ecosystem. It's not just about pushing buttons, it's about understanding the whole strategic picture.
That makes sense. You need both sides of the brain, sort of.
You really do. And finally, a restraint we've all become, unfortunately, acutely aware of in recent years.
Yeah.
Global disruptions.
Yeah, that's putting it mildly.
We're talking about everything from, obviously, pandemics to geopolitical tensions, trade conflicts, even natural disasters like earthquakes or floods.
Right.
These events continually test the resilience of existing supply chain infrastructures. They often reveal significant weaknesses.
Which leads to?
Well, unfortunately, necessitating costly redesigns to adapt and build more resilience for the next time. But what's fascinating here, I think, is how these restraints, these challenges, they aren't just hurdles, they're actually catalysts.
Catalysts for change.
Exactly. Catalysts for innovation and for completely rethinking how we approach supply chain strategies. It forces critical thinking on that delicate balance between, opportunity and risk.
So, okay, given these monumental challenges, what does this all mean for the future? Despite the speed bumps, you said the market isn't just surviving, it's bursting with promising trends.
It really is. There's a lot of innovation happening.
Like what? One of the most intriguing developments mentioned is the emergence of supply chain as a service, or SCaaS. What's the concept there?
Yeah, SCaaS. It's proving to be a bit of a game changer for many businesses, actually.
How does it work?
Well, instead of investing heavily in building their own SCM infrastructure and hiring specialized personnel, companies are essentially outsourcing entire supply chain functions to third-party experts.
Ah, okay. Handing it over.
Pretty much. And this strategy offers some really clear benefits. It significantly boosts scalability. You only pay for what you need when you need it.
Right.
Very flexible. And it minimizes a company's own capital investment. So for smaller or maybe rapidly growing businesses, it means they get almost instant access to world-class SCM capabilities without that massive upfront cost and complexity.
That's incredibly smart. Makes a lot of sense. And speaking of new technologies, you mentioned blockchain is gaining ground, specifically for enhancing traceability. How does that work in practice?
Right, blockchain. Imagine every single hand that a product touches, let's say from a coffee beans farm all the way to your mug.
Okay.
Imagine every step being recorded on a digital ledger that nobody can tamper with. It's unchangeable.
Immutable.
Exactly. That's the power of blockchain for traceability, offering tamper-proof records and really unparalleled transparency across the entire supply chain network.
So if there's a problem, like a recall?
Or if you just want to verify the origin of a product, maybe it's organic certification or something, you know exactly where every single item is or has been almost instantly. It builds incredible trust and accountability.
Fascinating. And, as we all become more aware of our global footprint, there's that huge focus on sustainability and green supply chains. This feels like more than just a trend, doesn't it? It feels like a fundamental shift.
I think it absolutely is. It's moving beyond being just a nice to have. Businesses are actively redesigning their logistics to reduce emissions, implementing recycling initiatives, making sure they're complying with evolving ESG, that's environmental, social, and governance mandates.
Right. ESG is everywhere now.
It is. But it's not just about compliance either. It's also about consumer pressure, definitely about brand image, and often genuine corporate responsibility. Consumers, especially younger ones, increasingly want to know their products are sourced and delivered ethically and sustainably.
Makes sense. And the fourth major trend you pointed to?
That would be the acceleration of cloud-based SCM platforms adoption.
Moving to the cloud.
Yep. This is particularly prevalent among companies with globally dispersed operations, which is, let's face it, a lot of them now. And The advantages are pretty clear. These cloud platforms allow for seamless collaboration between teams located literally anywhere in the world.
Right.
They offer remote accessibility, so you can manage operations from afar, which became crucial recently, and they provide elastic scalability.
Meaning they can grow or shrink easily.
Exactly. Grow or shrink with business needs without needing massive reinvestment in hardware or infrastructure. So when you connect these trends, SCaaS, blockchain, sustainability, cloud adoption, you see how they offer tangible solutions to many of the restraints we just talked about.
Ah, okay. Addressing the challenges.
Precisely. They're paving the way for a more resilient, more transparent, and more responsive future for global supply chains.
Wow. What a journey we've taken. We've traveled from those powerful drivers that are rapidly expanding global supply chains,
Yeah.
navigated through the significant restraints, those speed bumps that challenge their operations,
And finally, explored the really innovative trends that are truly shaping their future. Hopefully you, our listener, now have a much deeper understanding of this crucial, often unseen aspect of the global economy that impacts nearly every single product you touch.
And maybe just a final thought to leave you with. As supply chains continue to evolve, demanding ever more visibility and adaptability, how might this increasing transparency fundamentally change your relationship with the products you buy? Thinking about everything from their origins, where they really came from, to their environmental impact along the way.
That's a really powerful thought to consider. We definitely encourage you to keep exploring, maybe look at the world around you through this new lens of supply chain understanding. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive.